Board of County Commissioners acts as a quasi-judicial body when it hears requests for rezoning and conditional use permits. Applicants must provide competent, substantial evidence establishing facts or expert witness opinion testimony showing that the request meets the zoning code and comprehensive plan criteria. Opponents must also testify as to facts or provide expert testimony whether they like or dislike a request is not competent evidence. The board must then decide whether the evidence demonstrates consistency and compatibility with the comprehensive plan and the existing rules in the zoning ordinance, property adjacent to the property to be rezoned, and the actual development of the surrounding area. The board cannot consider speculation, non-expert opinion testimony, or poll the audience by asking those in favor or opposed to stand up or raise their hands. If a commissioner has had communications regarding a rezoning or conditional use permit request before the board, the commissioner must disclose the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place before the board takes action on the request. Likewise, if a commissioner has made a site visit, inspection, or investigation, the commissioner must disclose that fact before the board takes action on the request. Each applicant is allowed a total of 15 minutes to present their request, unless time is extended by majority vote of the board. The applicant may reserve any portion of the 15 minutes for rebuttal. Other speakers are allowed 5 minutes to speak. Speakers may not pass their time to someone else in order to give that person more time to speak.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Thursday, May 26th zoning meeting. And do we have a Dr. Bowana Bostic here for the invocation? Hi, if you can come on up. Thank you for coming.
Good evening. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful to be in your presence today. We thank you for this meeting that's going forth. God, I pray for each member. I pray for the agenda tonight, that God, you move, you bless, you increase. And God, we thank you for your understanding as we go forth tonight. And God, as a county, we pray for Brevard County. And our hearts are also with Texas. Yes. And God, we pray for the children, the parents, the teachers, superintendents, custodians, clerk staff. God, we pray for comfort tonight. And as you comfort them, God, continue to comfort this nation. And we give you glory for what you already have done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Dr. Bostic is with the City of Refuge Christian Church. Thank you so much, Doctor. All right, Commissioner Smith.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know if I officially called the meeting to order, but I'll do that now. All right, we have minutes for approval for March 8th. Regular.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pritchett, second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Before we move on to consent, I have item J1 that the applicant is requesting that this item be tabled. I don't have any cards for it except for the applicant. So can we just move that so the person that's presenting the item can move on?
Motion to table?
Motion to table J1 to the, I guess that would be the July 12th meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
By Commissioner Pritchett, second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to consent.
I have nothing to pull now.
Do you have anything to pull, Commissioner Smith?
No, ma'am.
All right, I do have, I have item F4, and it looks like it's possibly just the applicants. I have 3 cards. I just want to be sure that they don't want to speak. I don't have any other cards, public opinions or otherwise, to be presented. So if it's okay with the applicant, Carter Hayes, Jessica Hayes, and Donald Barker will go ahead and leave this on consent unless you want to speak. You okay with that? All right.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pritchett. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. That was the easiest consent agenda I think we've ever passed. All right, item G, I don't have any public comment cards separate from the items that are ahead of us. So moving very quickly, we'll move on to item H1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just give me a second. I'm going to open up my book.
Take your time.
Item H1 is Charles K. Donaldson requests a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment 22S.04 to change the future land use designation from Res 1 to Res 4. Application number 22SS0001, tax account 2416959, located in District 2.
All right, the applicant present? Yes, did you want to speak on this, or yours is the only card?
I have a presentation. If you've read the minutes, it would be the same as that. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer it. I am here with the owner, Charles Donaldson, and his wife. They've owned this property for a very long time, since the 70s. They're just trying to split the property. They're going to meet the EU zoning, which they've had forever. And the change to Res 4 was, to Res 1 was done in 2009, and it was not of their request. So I can answer any questions, or I can respond to comments, whichever you'd prefer.
Commissioner Pritchett?
Yes, ma'am. I was able to speak to county staff afterwards, and their assessment was that this could have been done different with the BDP. They are only going to put a house on both lots, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So how do we make sure that that's what it stays with? Because I know that's what they're trying to do, but if they just do this somehow with the Res 4, there's nothing on it that would keep it with that criteria.
Well, I provided a BDP, as we
Okay.
did with Dunkin' Donuts, so it was presented. Because of the requirements of the lot size, the width, it's going to be difficult for them to put more than two, so it was determined by P&Z that they weren't going to be able to put more than two, but they're happy to issue the BDP, which I've provided, which was kind of like we did with Dunkin' Donuts. Unusual, but workable. So if that's what you prefer, the binding development plan is in your package.
Mr. Calkins, that's okay then?
I believe that, I don't know that we have the binding development plan in the package. I believe there was a, Kim, I think that we're going to submit one.
I submitted it with the P&Z packet, and it's in the record as what I submitted for P&Z.
Okay.
So it was on Legistar.
So, Mr. Zanka, if not, and you would agree to a BDP of limiting to one house on both
Yes, ma'am.
parcels? Okay.
Yes, and that's exactly what the BDP says.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve with the BDP?
Motion to approve with the BDP. Second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
I apologize. Has H7 been continued by you all, or how are you handling that? I thought that was going to be done early before we started. That's the health first.
Ted?
I can wait, I just,
I don't have any cards on this, so we don't have to,
Do you,
so it's okay if we discuss H7 now,
if you want us to move to H7, yes, ma'am, we can move to H7.
Okay.
So H7, let me read it into the record just for clarification. H7 is Health First, Inc., the request to change the zoning classification from BU1 and BU2 to PUD. Commissioners, this matter is going to be moved to the July 12th meeting. If there's anybody here that wishes to speak on it because it was advertised, we can allow them to speak. Otherwise, the board cannot take action on this matter.
yeah, I don't have any cards.
Okay.
All right.
So we're going to move this to the July 12th meeting.
Okay, that's so noted. All right, moving on to item H2.
OBC Realty LLC requests a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, 22S.05, to change the future land use designation from Res 15 to CC Community Commercial, 22SS0002, tax accounts 2521003 and 2521005, located in District 2.
All right, applicant, Mr. Kirschenbaum.
Madam Chairperson, Commissioners, my name is Jack Kirschenbaum. I represent the applicant. It's a pleasure to appear before you this evening. I almost ran out of gas on the way here, which is something I haven't done in a long time, but I'm here. This is a request to really fix something that needs to be fixed. It's been a problem for kind of a long time. Y'all are real familiar, I'm sure, with the north end of Patrick Air Force Base. It's a real skinny, real strange part of the neighborhood. This building predates zoning. It's been a bad restaurant, a bad club for years and years. It has no stormwater treatment, no parking really. It's been abandoned for a while. And we're seeking to obtain this land use change so it can be redeveloped. And Rochelle Wandales has put a very good report in evidence. The planning board recommends approval. I have learned that the city of Cocoa Beach will provide sewer. There is a sewer main that runs on the west side of A1A, so there's no problems with septic or water. I have Allen Engineering here to tell us how horrible the stormwater situation is there now and how it will be fixed, how there will be open space around the proposed project. It's a real small space, so the uses are going to be minimal in the final analysis. I'm here to answer any other questions you might have.
Commissioner, do you have any questions? Nope. All right, I have no other cards, so thank you.
Thank you.
Commission?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Pritchett. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item H3.
Clifton Thomas, Clayton Bennett requests a change of zoning classification from BU1A to RU1-13 with a BDP limited to 1 unit. Application number is 22Z0012, tax account 2954089. It's located in District 3. This application has been withdrawn by the applicant, and a letter was received on May 16, 2022.
All right, it looks like the application was withdrawn by the applicant. So
Yes,
do we-
ma'am, there's no action needed, so we can move to H4.
H4.
William L. and Sharon R. Fegan request a change of zoning classification from AU to RR-1. Application number is 22Z00010, tax account 3022409, located in District 1.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, second by Commissioner Smith, and I have no comment cards. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item H5.
Heath and Shannon Morgan request a change of zoning classification from RU1-9 to SR. The property is .069 acres located on the north side of Miami Avenue, approximately 200 feet east of City Acres Road. Application number is 22Z00011, tax account number 2863495, located in District 5.
All right, I have no issues.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item H6.
PR Corporate Holdings LLC and AK Blue Holdings LLC requests a change of zoning classification from AU to RU-1-11. Application number is 22Z00013. Tax account number is 21005549, located in District 1.
All right, I have the applicant.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioner Board. I got some handouts I'm just going to pass out real quick.
Okay. Nope.
For the record, I'm Kim Fisher, engineer of record, representing the owners of the property. This is a rezone request from the current property's agricultural. There is a dilapidated house on there that will be coming down soon. This is just a rezone from agricultural to get it out of the agricultural place holding zoning, as I call it. We are surrounded on the north and west by similar sized lots. On the east, we have a closed down, I believe it was a closed down school, now it's a closed down assisted living facility, and larger parcels to the south. Our future land use is 4 dwelling units per acre. We are not trying to increase density. We have checked with environmental services. We are not in the septic overlay, so the environmental services have given us the green light as well. And other than that, I'm here to answer any questions should you have any.
Okay, Commission, do you have any questions right now? All right, I have one other card. Thank you. I'll call you back up.
Thank you.
All right, Norman Schott.
Hello.
State your name, please.
Norman Schott.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I live on Diamond Road, 3110 Diamond Road to be exact. I'm against this. This is going to forever change our way of life. I've lived there almost 25 years. This street has an L shape, 2/3 of a mile long. It has 21 current houses on it. Average lots go from a half acre to 5 acres. This particular lot is 4.38 acres, so with that new zoning would allow you 4 per acre, so you could put 17 houses, I guess, in that corner. If you do that, you're going to double the amount of houses on our street in one little corner. Right now, we have no sidewalks, we have 3 street lights, and it's safe to walk down the street at night. You put in new houses and that kind of thing, and we're going to have so much traffic on that street that it won't be safe to walk down the street anymore at night. We had to have petition and get speed bumps put in some years back because the high school students from Astronaut thought that was a shortcut around the traffic light. That fixed traffic a whole lot, so it became safe to walk down the street again. You put this kind of development in there, you change our neighborhood totally. It will not be like what it's ever been for the last 25 years I was there. And that's all I'm going to say. It's not consistent with what we've had and what we're living with. And I don't even know how you dump 17 houses out on that street in the corner. I mean, it's a driveway. Our road is just little. It's not going to hold that. You're going to have to change the road, but I guess they'll get that done. And I also don't know how you get 17 septic systems on a lot that used to hold 1 septic system for 1 house. But basically, my whole problem with this is that what I've been living on for 25 years there, that I can go out and walk down my street, I will not be able to do that anymore. There's no sidewalks, there's no street lights, there's no nothing. You dump that many people, 2 cars per house, 17 houses, 34 additional cars on our street. Most of the people who live on the street are retired, like I am. Don't drive to and from work, so there's very little traffic on the street. It's safe. You can take your dog and walk down the street at nighttime, no problem. You're not going to be able to do that with all these people in there. That's why I'm against this.
Okay. Thank you. All right, did you want to come back up?
Thank you. We are sensitive to the surrounding areas, and we are compatible zoning with our surrounding areas. I did want to mention that there's actually 27 properties with driveways onto Diamond currently, and there are only 6 of those driveways that have over 1 acre in size, and the bulk of them are actually less than a ½ acre. We are not going to be putting 17 houses on this property in order to meet septic. We're probably closer to 13 or 14, and with new subdivisions, the peak hour trip for a house is approximately 1. So peak hour, it would be approximately 13 or 14 peak trips onto Diamond. And Diamond is not a rural road. We have a fire hydrant directly in front of our property, so we are a little more in the urbanized area, so it's not rural. So it is consistent and harmonious with our surrounding area. That's about it.
You have a
If
question?
you have any questions, be happy to answer.
Go ahead. Yes.
You put in the petition, and looking at it, it matches the surrounding property. I understand the change of the nature of things going on out there. From what I see, after you get on Diamond, you're either going to go one way towards Dairy Road or one way to Old Dixie, so it's gonna split it up a little. I see you have in there up to 16 lots. Looking at it, just so that you know, I'm probably gonna vote to make an approval tonight, but you're gonna have to work on doing a traffic statement, and then you're also gonna have to work on stormwater. I don't think you're gonna get 16 on there, but you'll have to work that out with staff and see what you can do. But thank you for being cognitive of the neighbors. But I do see it being able to split off both directions. They're moving out. So based on it really does fit. I don't even have a reason I could deny it. So I'm going to make a motion to approve it.
Thank you.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Pritchett, second by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. J1 was tabled. Moving on to J2.
Commissioner, J2 is a request for an allocation not to exceed $12.2 million from the second tranche of ARPA money to partially fund the anticipated construction costs of the Brevard County Emergency Operations Center, that we are in the middle of the CCNA process to award that agreement. I believe the agenda is rather detailed in terms of the background and the amount of funding that has been utilized so far, what's currently available, and what the anticipated costs are in the attachments. And so we are looking for the board, if it's the board's pleasure, on the options provided, if they would authorize, if you're interested in authorizing options 1, 2, and 3, that would allow us to continue negotiations with a top-ranked construction management firm with that 12.2 additional million allocation of the ARPA second tranche funding. And if we are not successful, if negotiations fail with them, then to move to the second-ranked CM to attempt to reach a satisfactory agreement within the budgeted amount that the board authorizes. And if not, then option 3 would allow us to go to the third CM that was selected through the CM process. So we're happy. Staff is here to answer any questions that you may have on that item.
Commission?
I have no objections to that, 1, 2, or 3.
You think you're asking for 1, 2, and 3?
That's right.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have no objections to any of them, so I'm good. So I'll make a motion to approve.
I second. And County Manager, you did a lot of good work on that.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the hard work everybody's done on it, and sadly, construction costs are going up, but we want to make sure that we're getting the best deal we can. And you feel, and I know that, I'm sure you've discussed this with staff, but you feel like you can get accomplished what we need to get accomplished with the Emergency Operations Center, with 1, 2, and 3? Great. All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Smith to move forward or to approve the options of 1, 2, and 3. Second by Commissioner Pritchett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, guys. It's funny how something passes so quickly, but so much work goes on to get here. So I appreciate the hard work. All right, moving on to item J3.
Yes, ma'am. I put this on the agenda tonight. We were able to hear the first presentation last night on the TDC board. So the group is here from Driftwood to give us a presentation, and for our first time really getting to hear the details. Well, you guys, I got to hear one, so.
Commissioner Pritchett, how much time? I know this isn't like, this is an agendized item and it's not public comment, so I'm not going to hold them to the 3-minute rule, but 10 minutes, 15
10
minutes?
I think 10 minutes would be
Okay, and if we have
much
questions,
appreciated. Of course, we would welcome the
and
opportunity.
if you just state your name, that would be great.
Thank you, of course. My name is Glenn Wasserman, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Driftwood Capital, who is the sponsor of a proposed new hotel development. First off, good evening. Thank you so much for allocating time for us to present at this meeting. The new Westin Cocoa Beach Resort and Convention Center will replace the current International Palms Resort and create an iconic, state-of-the-art resort and meeting facility designed by the world-renowned architect Gensler. This transformative, mixed-use hospitality development project embraces the Space Coast revival as a center of technology innovation and leisure. The project is located on a 15.7-acre site boasting 500 linear feet of beachfront, featuring the area's only upper upscale hotel with 502 guest rooms and suites, along with a wide variety of food and beverage venues, a full-service spa, multiple pools, and an expansive resort amenities. The resort will also offer over 120,000 square feet of flexible indoor and outdoor meeting space, making it the largest conference and event venue in the county. The project is shovel-ready, featuring all necessary entitlements, height variance approvals, and zoning requirements. We are here today to provide the county commissioners an overview of the Westin Cocoa Beach Resort and Convention Center development and address any concerns or questions you may have. Specifically, our ask is that the county commissioners place an agenda item on your July meeting to vote on a proposed grant request associated with the development. Driftwood is a long-standing member of the Brevard business community. We currently own 3 hotels in the county and anticipate breaking ground in the next couple of months on our 4th hotel. We have been working with county officials on this Westin project for several years now. In terms of a timeline and how we got here today, we began this process when Driftwood acquired the International Palms Resort in 2016. Over the subsequent 3 years, we worked to design a development that would incorporate a 4.5-star resort and convention center. We obtained the proper zoning variances and approvals during this time. We anticipate breaking ground on the construction towards the end of the 4th quarter of 2022, the beginning of 1st quarter 2023, with the completion in the 4th quarter of 2025. Some additional details about the property. As I mentioned earlier, it will contain 502 guest rooms and suites and be situated on 15.7 acres of land, including 500 linear feet of beach access. We will have 11 food and beverage venues and multiple amenities, including 3 resort pools, entertainment venues, indoor and outdoor recreation areas, and a spa and fitness facility. The development will include 800,000 square feet of building square footage and 120,000 square feet of meeting space, and is anticipated to cost over $380 million. I would like to invite Kyle Gagne, the Vice President of Development for Marriott, who has joined us today, just to come up and comment briefly on the proposed Westin development.
And we have a card for him as well.
Thank you, Glenn. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thanks for having me. Kyle Gagne, Vice President of Development for the Full Service Brands for Marriott International. Just a quick couple statements for you in support of this project. Certainly, as we learned last night and we'll learn again today, it's transformative for the region. I've had the state of Florida for my territory for 18 years now and can't recall a development like this in those 18 years. So certainly transformative for this region and a flagship for the Westin brand. To have a conference center resort on the beach, East Coast in Florida is a flagship for the Westin brand. And then lastly, large-scale projects like this for our premier brands are not commonplace. As we only sign a few of these a year, they almost always have some form of public financial support. Fully supportive of the project and very happy to be partnered with Driftwood on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Just some additional information on the conference and meeting space. As I mentioned earlier, it will contain over 120,000 square feet. 50,000 square feet of that is indoors, and it is comprised of a grand ballroom of over 16,000 square feet, as well as other smaller ballrooms and meeting spaces, as well as pre-function and breakout areas. Due to its size, the grand ballroom can be set up in multiple configurations to facilitate hosting cocktail parties, banquet style, theater or auditorium style, classroom style, and conference style. The outdoor event space of 70,000 square feet is very flexible, and we can structure it in a way to host food and wine festivals, weddings, boating car shows, other large exhibits, concerts, and can even be tented for formal outdoor events. This project has gone through a number of structure changes. We had one approach initially that contemplated a public-private partnership, and based on the feedback we received, we decided to revise that approach to better respond to the community's concerns. We are aware that other businesses in other industries have asked for and been awarded grants to attract the relocation of their business or the development of facilities and other real estate. As such, we have structured our request in the form of a grant. Our revised ask to the county commissioners is approval of a marketing grant only. Specifically, our grant request is for up to $1 million per year for 30 years to be used solely for the promotion and advertising of the Space Coast and the Westin Resort and Convention Center. The source of the grant is anticipated to be 50% of the tourism development taxes that the new resort and conference center generates. The payment of the grant is anticipated to be quarterly in arrears and only made after Driftwood submits documentation of our spend of the promotion and advertising dollars to the county manager's office. To be clear, this grant would be specific and only apply to Driftwood. If we sold the resort to a third party at some point in the future, the grant will cease and not be eligible to be transferred to that new owner. Nothing about the project has changed. As I previously detailed, we want to develop a luxury oceanfront 502-room, 4.5-star resort and conference center, and it will be built entirely with private capital. The development is already fully entitled. We're simply asking for the county's help in marketing. The county and the Tourism Development Council have done a tremendous job attracting new business to the area. We have seen tremendous growth of economic activity due to this. What we are trying to do is something that has not been done yet. Put the Space Coast on the map as a destination for large-scale convention business. The promotion and advertising dollars that we are asking for support on will target this new business. With the renaissance of the space industry and the growth of tourism and business in the area, there is currently no facility in this market that is modern enough and large enough to meet the expectations or standards of what today's high-end business traveler and conference guest expects in 2022. This is a market-wide issue. It's not a swipe at any one particular hotel. We see the issue firsthand at our own Hilton property in Cocoa Beach. Simply put, this is a paradigm shift. The Westin is a transformative project that will allow Brevard County to be competitive with markets like Orlando and Miami in attracting large group and conference business. That warrants a dedicated marketing effort. This is a win for everyone. The residents of Brevard, who will benefit from the property and sales tax the property generates, the businesses of Brevard, who who will benefit from indirect spending of guests and access to a world-class facility, and even other hoteliers who will capitalize on spillover business. We will be funding the cost of the development privately. However, the county's support means a tremendous amount to our financial partners and lenders. It signals to them that the county is behind us and committed to the project's success. To be clear, we do not have the financing for the project in place. We have spoken with many of our existing banking relationships and financing brokers who indicated that the total cost of the project is significant, and specifically, the cost per key is high. Without the economic support of the county, it will be challenging to obtain the financing required to build the development with its current scope. Specifically, we may need to cut the cost of the development, which could impact the convention center and other amenities. We have heard feedback from other hoteliers, many of which might be considered competitors, that a grant for this development would set a precedence. As I conveyed to the Tourism Development Council yesterday, Driftwood believes that if there are other businesses or developers who plan to invest a significant amount of money to sponsor a transformational project, we believe those businesses or developers should be eligible for support from the county. As I mentioned earlier, we are breaking ground on a $50 million hotel development in Melbourne in the next couple of months. It's going to be known as the Melbourne Element. We will also be investing a significant amount of money into the renovation of our existing hotel, Hilton Hotel in Cocoa Beach. And we are not asking for county support for these investments. Nor do I believe other developers should approach the county if they're developing or building a mini golf or a water park or another venue that is not transformative in nature for the region. However, as we contemplate investing $380 million into a development to transform the county and the Space Coast into a convention destination with a 4.5-star upper upscale resort, we believe this project warrants economic support from the county. We commissioned an economic impact study to calculate the benefit to the county. The results are summarized on the slide. Upon stabilization of the resort and convention center's operations, Johnson Consulting, who performed the study and compiled the findings, is estimating that the Westin Resort and Convention Center will generate over $159 million of economic benefit to the county on an annual basis. From a fiscal impact, this project will generate just shy of $11 million of additional taxes, including an increase in the tourism development taxes from the current $270,000 that is generated by the existing International Palms Resort to over $3 million a year. These figures do not contemplate additional property tax revenue and other unquantifiable benefits. The economic and fiscal benefits that the Westin Resort and Convention Center will generate, as well as the new product offering, is what will transform the area into a premier destination for conventions. Once again, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present the Westin Cocoa Beach Resort and Convention Center and the details behind the grant application. Again, our ask is that the county commissioners place an agenda item on your July meeting to vote on the grant request. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Pritchett.
So can I ask you, you keep saying the cost per key is high. Can I ask you what it is?
Well, it's $388 million now,
Okay.
divided by the 502 keys. I don't do math in my head, I'm sorry. $800,000 a key.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions right now? No? All right. I have a couple of cards. Ms. Janice Scott.
Good evening. Commissioners. Thanks for allowing me to make this public comment. I've observed this project when former Commissioner Lober was here wrangling around. We're at 8 months now at one scheme or another to get the county to do something special for the Weston development. It's more like Weston versus the TDC now. I've probably watched these back and forth. There's probably at least 12 hours of public time spent on this. There's a cost to that to the taxpayer. I know it sounds small, but nevertheless, the Westons here, they got several variances from the city of Cocoa Beach to build their hotel. Everybody's been waiting with great expectation to see what they're going to do, when they're going to do it. And now, by the time I guess they build it, it'll be 9 years. The TDC has been doing a great job for you all over the years of allocating money to market tourism in Cocoa Beach and also around the county. As a matter of fact, they were instrumental in having the B line renamed Beach Line so you would know which beach to go to on the coast of Florida. And I just think that their responsibility is to spread the money around. They're experienced at doing it. I really do think you should take their advice. I don't think it's their business or yours to pick winners and losers or single out one entity over another. It almost is that's transformative now, it may be, but it's beginning to sound like whining. You know, when you let your oldest kid drive the car to the 7-Eleven before their 16th birthday, you never get over that. The next one comes along the day or a week before his 16th birthday, he wants to drive the car to the 7-Eleven. So on it goes. I suggest that you take the TDC's advice. They are not in favor of doing this. I think you're going to embroil the TDC into a bag of worms of lawsuits on preferential treatment, who's treated fairly, who's been treated unfairly, and issues that they don't now have. So, and last but not least, D2 does not have a representative now. I really do not think anything of this magnitude should be undertaken until D2 has a representative again. It's unfortunate whatever has transpired that we don't have one. Doesn't look like the governor's going to appoint someone to represent us, but that's kind of the sentiment among a lot of people in Brevard. So thank you.
Bob Bugger?
Bob Bacher, Cocoa Beach. I've talked to most of you already, but I'm opposing this not as a development. I'm all for them. I hope they build it. In fact, I can't see how they cannot build it if their numbers are correct. In other words, they're saying they put $37 million in it, and you don't walk away from $37 million for getting $1 million a year. I personally have built a lot in the area. We just completed 2 units, hotels that are 310 rooms, and I know the cost of hotel business. I know the market pretty well. Ourselves, we have 3 hotels planned, maybe 4, and there's 2 more in the Cape Canaveral area, so there's 5 more coming into this market. Nobody's asking for assistance. I heard that we're going to be compared to Orlando. Orlando is compared to Las Vegas, so comparing us to Orlando is not a reality. I'm not against helping them. In fact, what I heard at the TDC, a limited time period to help them get out of the box, I'm not against that. But when you do something for 30 years at $1 million a year, you're allowing them to sell that. And there is nothing in this proposal that qualifies what marketing is, and there's no oversight. So basically, if you gave them this, they could market this in their and reap about a $25 million benefit immediately, okay? You're handing them $25 million marketable asset. That's what you're doing, free. So all I'm asking is if you really want to help them market it, a marketing program is usually 1 or 2 years. The TDC was very generous at 5 and 7. And so it would be a giant step forward to do something like that, because you got a whole bunch of other projects coming right out of the ground. You got the Buffett project in Melbourne coming out of the ground. They can claim the thing. It's a regional stuff. So the TDC marketing budget depends on the growth of the TDC funds. And so when you raid the marketing funds for one, you're raiding it for all. And so to me, if you're going to do this, keep it in the TDC and keep it under their oversight, so you have oversight, and limit it to a reasonable marketing program, not a sellable $25 million asset at our expenses. Thank you.
Thank you. Oops. All right, commission? No more cards.
I got warmed up yesterday a little bit, so it's easy to come out the chute with it. One thing that you said different tonight, and Bob, just so you know, he said it, Mr. Bogger, well, you can hear Eric. They said if they sell it, it goes away. So this is not transferable, just so you know. I heard him say that, so I wanted you to hear that. So that's one thing you had mentioned tonight. So if you sell it, the grant goes.
Correct, and although I did say it tonight, I didn't say it last night.
Okay.
It was written in the grant application.
That's good. I had that written down as a question.
That we provided.
It's okay, Bob. We'll catch up later, because I can talk to you. We're not under sunshine, right? Okay. But that was something that I was having a concern with. Actually, he did state that it's a $25 million asset if you told him 5 years. So obviously it's not, because if you sold it, it's gone. So, because I look at numbers. I do want to make a couple statements is when I was listening to this, and again, I've got like 6 pages of notes, because I'm in study phase here. I'm trying to get all the data I can so we can make a good decision. And this is a brand-new market, which I think is interesting, because we don't have this market currently. We have the other hotels. They're wonderful hotels, but if you want people to come to a higher-end Westin, and I was telling some people last night that when me and my husband travel, we live small, so we vacation big. So I want to stay in the higher-end hotels, so we head over to Clearwater. So this is a brand-new market that we're not grabbing right now. So it's going to start a whole new baseline of sales tax revenue. A couple things that are in here that I liked. Your first proposal, I probably wasn't going to vote through a few years ago, but I thought this was pretty creative that you're doing a 50% with the marketing, and there's a cap on it. I thought that was just a great idea. And I also like that at the end of 30 years, if you still haven't collected those funds, it's still gone anyway. So this thing's got a lot of parameters on it. And plus, the money that's going to marketing is specifically for the Space Coast, for this other market share. And I mentioned last night at the TDC, if other guys come in with projects that do a new market, or even in our market to where we get more dollars here, I wouldn't be against doing that as well. We are a sales tax driven state. So anytime we can get more tourist dollars here, it saves us on ad valorem taxes. So I'm always looking for those opportunities. I remember back years ago, they took a few risks up here on Blue Origin, and they had a small thing they were building. Well, actually it wasn't small, but it's like 3 times the size as it was. And the investment, it ended up being, a pretty good investment for us. So I was listening to all that, and there's a lot of things that are with that. And plus, this doesn't hurt the county. And that was my main thing. It cannot hurt the county. So all the revenue you have coming in now for tax dollars, that doesn't even go into the pot. You have to start a threshold right on top of that. So this is all new dollars. And let's say you do get $10 million, you still only get that one cap on it. All the rest of it goes to the county. So you're really capped in on how much money you can have. So I'm still looking at this. I mean, I heard a few concerns yesterday, and I'm listening and trying to get through them. And I know we don't have a commissioner right now, but I was really impressed to hear from the mayor, Cocoa Beach mayor, because it directly impacts him and his reasoning for it. And I like that you're building a parking garage. Again, there's a lot to work through here. So I did want to mention one thing that I thought was a little bit interesting. We were talking about this last night. We're on the learning thing, trying to learn it. And I had a TDC board ready to just vote and shoot it down. And I'm like, guys, we need to learn this and listen. The commission's having it tomorrow. We're not voting. We need to learn this. We want the public to understand it. We want to understand it. And so they finally, the mayor of Palm Bay decided not to do the second, and they backed off of it. But I thought, man, because if we were stinkers, we could vote it through tonight, but we're not going to do that. We want everybody to have input. We want to make good decisions. So I did want to mention that because I trust this commission. They're really smart. And so as we're getting all the data together, I know we'll come forward with a good decision, but I don't know where we're going to end up. But commissioners, I'd love to hear from you too. And I would like to make a motion when we're done to put it on the second agenda in July so that we have time to really study and come back and hear it.
Commissioner Smith? I'd love to hear your input.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I hearken back to about 2015 when we were asked to approve thumbs up, thumbs down on Blue Origin. And we heard that statement made then that we were picking winners and losers. Capital cronyism was another one that was thrown around. There was another statement thrown around. And I was the deciding vote on that. I was really kind of just listening to what people had to say. I hadn't made my mind up one way or the other. And I'm kind of in the same situation here. I've had conversations with some of the other hoteliers, and they raised some good points. But at this point, I think that we're taking the right step if we advance this to the July agenda. We can have some more time to talk about it. We can think about it some more. We can do some more research, and we can make a decision then. And hopefully by then we'll have 2 more commissioners sitting to my left. So it'll be 5 of us making that decision. I can tell you right now that I'm very impressed with the whole operation. The very first time I heard it, I said, wow, I didn't use transformative. I just said it's a game changer. This can do for Cocoa Beach what the Fontainebleau did to Miami Beach. It'll raise all the ships. A rising tide raises all ships, and that's what this thing can do. This thing can benefit everybody in that community. It will transform, which is their word, the community. I would think that it would encourage more upscale units to be brought to Cocoa Beach at the same time. That benefits everybody. It benefits the TDC. When I took place on this board back in 2014, I think TDC monies were probably in the $8 million to $10 million range. Now we're pushing 20. I think with new development, we can see 25, 28 million, maybe 30 million on the horizon. So I don't see anything but good coming from this, but I'm looking. I'm willing to listen to any negatives, downsides to this. Currently, I don't see any. One of the comments you made tonight was that the $1 million would go away. I know that was one of the sticking points that some folks said to me, that you were guaranteed this $1 million. Well, you're only guaranteed the $1 million if you bring in $2 or $3 million. Currently, the International Palms generates what?
270.
So, we're talking about a big win here for the community. If you can bring in $3 million and you want $1 million back, I'll make that deal all day long if there's 20 more hotels that want to come to Brevard County. So I think it's something that we should definitely consider, move forward with it. Hopefully we have 2 more commissioners to my left in 6 or 8 weeks, and we can make a decision to get you guys on your way. If we have to get some kind of concessions on your part, and the other commissioners would vote for it with those concessions. If we don't have to get any concessions, we move forward with it. I just think we need to move forward with it one way or the other.
All right, and I think I've asked many of the questions and spent some time with some of the folks that are involved with this project. and I'm sort of where you are, I obviously want to take input from everybody. However, again, if someone can produce for me a project that's a $300 million project, a $300 million investment, I'm all ears on hearing about what we can do as a commission or as a board to help them out. You never know what the best investments are of those funds, but I know for many, many years, we've invested a lot of money in Cocoa Beach marketing. So no one can ever say that we didn't, and to call that corporate welfare is sort of disgusting to me, considering that for many, many years, it was the hoteliers of Cocoa Beach that ran that TDC. And I'm not even criticizing the individuals that are members of the board now. I'm just saying that was how it was before this current board on the commission. So again, I don't think this is a picking winners and losers as was stated. I think this is more looking at, can this project justify a public benefit? Can this project show, and I think that they're trying to do that now, and again, I'll have some more questions. Doesn't mean for sure whether or not, I'm 100% on board right now, but so far I like what I've seen, and I like the idea of bringing something like this to Brevard County. And, if you're going to take the existing $270,000 that they're getting now, and you're going to triple that just by them opening their doors, and they're going to guarantee that marketing is going to guarantee marketing for the Space Coast, marketing for their operation, I don't know how that's a bad thing. They're not spending it on themselves, they're not spending it on their employees, they're not using it for capital. They're spending it directly to benefit the marketing of the Space Coast. So maybe those are some of the terms that we work out. If I were to support this, and I'm not committing to that now, but if this is going to continue to move forward and likely see the support of this commissioner, I want to see a marketing plan, and I want, again, and I think you've already mentioned that you would agree to be subject to audit, at least on some degree, or have to bring something to the TDC. Maybe it's a committee that's part of the TDC that approves the marketing plan. But if you're investing that money, that is essentially from the tax that you're collecting back into the Space Coast marketing and back into marketing the Westin, I don't even know how you argue that. Basically, all you're doing is holding them to using $1 million of that to marketing. You're not really seeing that as a financial benefit. Others may see it differently. However, if that money's being reinvested in the county, I don't see how that's a negative. So I look forward to hearing what more you have to offer and hope you're available to ask questions. I know many of your folks have been available, and I'm sure, our phones are going to blow up from the time we walk out this door for the next month, and that's okay. We were never elected to make easy decisions, and sometimes it's hard to make tough ones too. So,
I'd like to add something too.
Commissioner Smith?
Yeah, I'd like to just add,
That's okay.
recently,
I like-
and I don't know
I
how
like a
recently,
conversation
maybe in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I was speaking with these folks, and they were showing me their layout, and something came to mind with the outdoor space. I attended a space symposium in Colorado Springs, I don't remember, 3 or 4 years ago, and Jeff Bezos showed up and had one of his rockets, a used rocket, on display. And it had the burn marks, and it was sitting there. And I immediately thought, when you guys were showing me your outdoor space, I thought, gosh, we could have a space symposium here, or maybe a mini space symposium. And I thought, wow, what that would do to the community, and what that would do to the room nights for all these other guys. If you brought in, I don't know how many people they bring in, 6, 8, 10,000 rooms, something like that at the space symposium, that would fill up every hotel room in the county. So I just think, again, this is a game changer. This has so many possibilities. And if we can give you guys some incentive to do that, and if we add $3 million to the TDC pot and you want $1 million back, I wouldn't object to doing that with any of the other future or present guys. If they can say that they can show me that they can come up with another $2 million and above, then we could talk about giving them some incentives too. But again, as Commissioner Zonka said, this isn't going in your pocket. This is going to be directed toward promoting Cocoa Beach, and everybody benefits from that promotion. So yeah, I think we should move this forward, and I'll certainly make the motion or second whoever wants to go in that direction.
Yeah, since we're getting on the fun stuff now, this is almost like you work for commission, You know, if you don't raise those extra funds, you don't get any. So it's really not much of a risk for us, and you've got to raise them too. But I did a little, I was checking to see what we have now and what this means. Right now, we would have a place that can seat 650 people, and after this, you can sit 1,983. I actually got this off of the online comparing the two. And so this is a significant building. And, you know, we were talking before about doing the analysis for the convention center, and actually Mr. Garvey brought up last night that one place built a convention center and then gave it to the Westin, and then still gave an incentive for 5 to 7 years. So, you know, I wouldn't vote to build you a convention center. But I realized then that, you know, they were looking at maybe doing an analysis of that before, and I wouldn't want to saddle our constituents with a convention center. I think eventually if this takes off, then you guys will have to come up with an idea to do that one, and so that you can do that. So I just looked at all of the numbers that were given last night, and I started running down some ideas, and they said a few things that I thought actually kind of sold your project a little more by the time they got done talking. But I looked at this, and these are very nice rooms. I think you're going to hire like 2,000 construction workers. So, I mean, this is going to really be good for the economy. And what I really like about it the most is this really isn't a risk for the county. And I just charge these other guys to come up with ideas and to come back with some things as well. And Commissioner Zonk, you brought this up, and I've been trying not to say it, but you're right on that corporate welfare. I mean, we just gave the zoo $10 million. I mean, if we're going to say we're doing that, we've already been doing that with a lot of projects.
And I was
so.
told it was seed money, which obviously it is, and I'm a huge supporter of the aquarium.
me too.
But I don't know
I'll
how
support
you
it.
look at anybody with a straight face and say, I support one project because it's new and transformative. And I know it's very different, clearly, you know, public benefit, et cetera. But in reality, I mean, it's still supporting that growth, so.
It is, and it's filling up all the hotels, which is good. But this is like building a destination too, so it's.
And I've worked with these folks and said, well, what about going out to RFP? But I mean, in reality, I think we would have just wasted time, because who else is going to say, okay, I'm willing to invest $300 million or plus into an RFP for this? And we could have done it just to give, you know, everybody smoke and mirrors about how we went, so we could say we went out to RFP. But in reality, again, my door's open, my phone's open. If you've got a project that's different, then I'm all ears.
Me too, if it benefits our county. And again, this isn't taking care of District 1 any. We tried, but we don't have a beach. But this is good for the county, and so I feel good about it. So I'm liking this right now. I'll keep studying it, working it out. But I just want to thank you for picking our county to do this, and I just hope we make Cocoa Beach a really big place on the map for people wanting to come over here and visit. It's a beautiful beach, and we have wonderful people here. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you guys for letting me say that.
And yet again, I may not be all the way there yet, but I'm not saying no either, and I really want to hear what you have to say, and hopefully we can work something out and make this happen. So I'm excited. All right, so I have a motion and a second to place it on what meeting in July?
The second one in July.
The second meeting in July? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. It was Commissioner Pritchett that made the motion, Commissioner Smith, second. All right. And I have no public comment cards. So moving on to board reports. Anything you want to add, Mr. Abate, about the project? I'm just kidding.
I have no additional report, Commissioner.
He's our sixth commissioner.
Yeah, you can be District 2 if you like. And for the record, I mean, we wish we had a District 2 commissioner too, but we didn't do the things that caused that resignation, so, or whatever. It's not our fault, it's not the board's fault. We do the best we can. We take advice from the existing staff in that office and from our county staff, and we're sort of dealt with. We've asked for an appointment, so we'll do the best we can to take care of those residents in District 2. All right.
And if I were a betting man, I'd say we're going to have a district commissioner by the next meeting in July.
You think?
I think so.
$1.
You got it.
Are we supposed to be betting up here?
I didn't say
Somebody's
that.
going to file an ethics complaint, so she's kidding. All right, Ms. Jornby?
No report.
Commissioner Pritchett?
I did want to mention, when we're getting off on that, we were talking about just one thing with the audit, and here I would kind of like to put that on the county manager when we're discussing that next time, so that he would be kind of watching over those funds with the marketing.
Okay.
Okay, so just y'all think about that. But I do want to mention the shooting that happened in Texas. I know y'all were going to bring it up too, but it just incredibly breaks my heart. I just have no words. I hate evil, and I just have no words. But I just wanted to mention that my heart really goes out to them, and it's just a good day to go home and hug your kids and love them and just remember what's important.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Pritchett. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple of things. I was your representative in D.C. last week with the Economic Development Commission. We visited NASA, and I should have a picture up here. Logan's going to show the picture. There's a mock-up of the supersonic X-59 Quest, which is a supersonic transport. NASA is developing this plane. It's an experimental plane, obviously, and it's designed to go very, very fast. It could travel from New York to Los Angeles in about 2 hours. They are in the process of getting approval, if they can get approval. Currently, you cannot fly a supersonic plane over land because of the loud sonic booms. It's disturbing to people, understandably. This will create actually a mild thump. So if they can get that approval, you might be able to jump on an airplane in Orlando and land in Alaska in a couple of 3 hours, which would be pretty amazing stuff. So I thought I'd bring that back because it really created an awful lot of interest in me. I would also like to say that NASA is interested in establishing with Brevard County a partnership to solve some of our common environmental problems with regard to wastewater out at the Cape, so that's good news. And at the Air Force, we visited with several of their folks, admirals and generals, and they also expressed an interest in working with us on environmental efforts with regard to Patrick and Cape Canaveral. So those are my reports on my visit.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for going.
My pleasure.
You don't seem too disappointed about that. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. All right, and I have nothing further, except if you haven't seen Top Gun yet, go see it. It's amazing.
Oh, there's a new Top Gun? All
Yes,
right.
there's a new Top Gun. It comes out Friday, but we got to watch the early thing, so yeah, I'm a little geeked out by it, but it was a really good movie. All right, with that, meeting adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.